Hi all, my name is Vibhuti Sumit. Today we are going to discuss about how to do WSO2 connector implementation in our project. To connect and integrate with the common systems and platforms, we are using WSO2 EI connectors, where we can implement multiple operations using the connectors, where there are more than 230 connectors are there in the WSO2 EI. And for example, file connect there are file connector, CSV connector, Salesforce connector, Gmail connector, and Amazon S3 bucket connector. There are so many connectors where we can use it in our project as per our implementation. And we can also build our own connector using SDK and Web API. Today in our session we are going to implement using file connector and CSV connector, where file will be using for reading the writing or transforming file from the FTP file transfer protocol from the server system or else from the local system. In demo we will be using a file local file system, and CSV file for transforming the CSV to XML and XML to CSV connector, um, where the client will be sending the request to EI and AI will be taking the file from the system, and we will be transforming the data as per the requirement, and implement the data using the data mapper and transform the data, and will send back to the client. And we are going to do we are going to learn three use cases where we will be invoking a REST API, taking a CSV file from the system, we're checking the file, like we will be sending the request from the postman system where with the file name, and we will be checking the file were exist or not. If the file exists, we will be transforming the data into XML format as per the required schema, and we will be sending to the client. And the second implementation will be we will be sending the huge amount of XML data using the postman, and the AI will take the data and it will be transforming it into CSV format as per the naming conventions and everything, and it will be storing in a flat file. And the third will be we will be implementing, like we will be invoking XML data using AI, where it will transform the message into JSON format, like it using the schema, like if we transform normally using the XML to schema, it will it won't change the data types and everything. If we use schema format, we can do it implement over there, and I will explain it in the process itself. We will go into the project, and this is a project which I have implemented. And once we implement, we will be creating the composite exporter, and I will be creating the project config where we will be having all the process and everything, and we will be creating connector exporter where we will be adding our connectors like CSV connector and the file connector and the register resource, where we will be having all the schemas and related data will be there in the register resource. To import new connectors, we need to click on the config, and we need to click on add connectors, and we can import it directly. I've downloaded it in my project, so I will not download it. And I've implemented three APIs, where first one will be like file. In this one, I will be in one property. I will be checking whether the property name, and we will be giving the file name. I'm setting the file name where I will be sending the request. I will show the request data. Um, this is a request data where I'm sending file name, where it will check whether the file name is there or not. So first I will send the name. So I'm saving the file name over here in the property file, and I will be using the process. Using the file check exist mediator connector, where it will check whether the file is there or not. For connection to the local system, I will be using this add button. And we can give the directory path over here, and we can use it over. And I'm giving the file path name. We said, right, I will be writing in the property, and I will be using over here. And of the results which will be coming from the file, like exist or not, I'm storing it in message body. After this, I'm using the template for the logging purpose, and for filter, I'm using the filter for checking whether the file is exist or not. If the file exist is true, it will be going and reading the file from the system, where the location was here, and I will be reading the .csv file where, and like read mode will be like we will be taking the complete file, and the pattern will be the CSV file, and the meme type, if it is a meme type, will be text or XML format, the plain format, and as a result of this read, we will be storing it in a message body itself. And after reading the file, the file will be in a CSV format. I will show you. The file will be in a CSV format, which I have downloaded from this website, PTIM, and I will be transforming this whole CSV data into an XML data, and I will be removing some more fields which I have not don't want to implement in the response payload. And like after the reading the data, I will be transforming the data into CSV to XML. Like I'm reading the CSV file, right? I will be transforming from CSV to XML, where I'm giving the tag names, which form, which naming you want to give. I'm giving the tag name so that it will give as per the naming fields. And I want to implement root element results, and I want to implement group element result, which will add into the XML payload. After that, I will be transforming this XML into another JSON format where we don't. I will show you. This is a transformed XML format which we will be sending from the request, where which will be taking from the file, and we will be taking only this amount of data, and the naming conventions and everything will be different. And I'm using the AK and AT. I don't want to use all things, so I'm using the mediate data mapper for transforming from XML to CSV using this. And after data mapper, we will transforming the data. We will be sending the response to this one, and we will be having the file condition, right? If there is a file exist, we will be sending. If the file doesn't exist, I'm sending the response for like file not found. This is one implementation which I have done, and I will explain you the another implementation where I will be sending an XML data, huge amount of data. This is the thousands of records which I am sending through the XML, and we need to store this data in a CSV format in our local system. So once I send the data in XML format, it will the XML to CSV connector which was there here. I will be using this connector and transforming from XML to CSV. Then these call templates are everything for logging and implementation purpose. And after that, I will be writing this file into file data, like into the path where I am given the name, which will be storing in the path itself. And if there is any file, I will be overwriting it. And name type will be automatic, like it may be in XML format, JSON format, anything format, it will be name type will be automatic. And I'm storing this all in the message body. Once it's done, it will give the response. And the third operation will be JSON transform, where I'm going to send one data in XML. I'm going to send one data in XML format, which will be invoking the PetStore API backend Swagger file, and it will be giving a response. Okay, in this one, we will get the request in XML format, and I'm using the JSON transform where the schema will be there in register resource. This is the schema which I have given. So I don't want, when I'm sending it is in an integer format, I want to transform it into string format to send it to the PetStore API. So I'm transforming the XML format into string format. Using the JSON schema, we can implement like if we only do transformation like the application or JSON, it will transform the uh, payload itself, but it won't change the data type. Like if it is number, it will transform it into integer. But if we do using JSON transform mediator, we can transform it into as per our required data types and everything in a structure format. And after that, I am sending using the send mediator, and I'm giving the HTTP address where we will sending the request to PetStore API. After that, we will be getting the response from the PetStore. If it is a 200 success, then I will be giving the success response, which was over here. And if it is failure, we will be sending the error response to our system. And I will implement like about the CSV connectors and file connectors. In CSV connectors, we will be having multiple mediators, multiple connectors like CSV to CSV, which will transform the CSV data to CSV data. I will once I run it and I will explain you all about it. When we are running it, we need to click take the registry results for schemas and for compose connector exporter for our connection to the file system and our projects. I need to click finish. Is it done? I will explain you about CSV files. CSV connector, we will be having CSV to CSV where we can transform the data from one CSV format to another. Like, and we can remove unwanted fields or we can remove number of rows using CSV to CSV. And we are having CSV to JSON, which will convert from CSV to JSON format, and CSV to XML, same CSV to convert into CSV data. And vice versa, we will be having JSON to CSV and XML to CSV. Whereas in file connector, we are having multiple connectors, like it will check whether the file exists or not, compress the file, copies the file from one to another, and will delete the file from the directory, create the directory, and list out the files which are there in that directory, and it will merge the files and it will move the files, read and rename the file, and we can unzip the file and we can write the file using file connector. And system is up now. I'm going to run JSON transform. I said right, I'm using JSON transform mediator and sending the request. So it is success. So I'm getting the success response in JSON transform. And now I will use you see, I'm going to send one file name which will take the data from the file and it will be giving the response as a JSON format. So I will send it in a file name. I'm getting the response. If I give the file name wrong, it will give me the file not found exception error. We give the file name correct and it will take the file from the system and we will get the data as per the schema format. And write file, I will be writing the huge amount of data into one CSV file, right? I will be sending this file. It was created, so we need to go to the file mediator. If you see the time 12 the new file was created over here and we can see the data. Yeah, you can see the data over here. If you want, I will for testing, I will delete it and I will once again run the file and the new file will be created in the CSV format. And this is all. And if you see here, I've implemented logging for this all things where we can check whether the file is like the application is started or not. It is like we tested JSON transform initiation and JSON calling endpoint and the completion of the process, and you see reading the CSV file, checking the file is exist or not, and reading the CSV file started and reading the CSV file ended. We can converting the CSV to XML started. We can log everything using the template and logging mediators, and we can checking the console so that the process is working fine or not. This is all about today's explanation. Thank you guys for joining.